I'm John Aldred for DIYphotography.net, and today we're going to be talking shotgun microphones, specifically the Deity S-Mic 2 shotgun microphone. So normally when I use a shotgun microphone, it's for videos like this, for DIY photography, or for my own YouTube channel, and they're not normally in the shot like this, but today I've got 4 microphones that I'm going to compare, and having it in the shot is going to be the easiest way for me to keep track of which clip belongs to which microphone. You might have noticed that this microphone isn't the one that was up there in the intro. This is the Sennheiser K6 ME66. I've also got a Rode NTG1 and a little Saramonic that came with the Mic XLR adapter, but this is the one I use most often. All 4 of the microphones we're going to look at today are all 48 volt phantom powered XLR microphones. And the only reason I'm using this one right now is because I haven't actually opened up the S-Mic 2 yet. This microphone is being fed by an XLR cable to a 6-track Alesis mixer that sits under my desk, and then that's fed out into the line input on my motherboard. All of the audio is being recorded on the computer using Adobe Audition, and the only post work that's being done to the files is to loudness normalize them to -23 LUFS. So let's take a look at the Deity S-Mic 2. We'll get back to this. This is the first microphone I've ever received that's actually come in a proper Pelly style hard case. This feels like you could throw it off a truck and it'll survive just fine. Inside you can see that there's not a lot. We've got the Deity S-Mic 2 microphone itself, a foam windshield, and we've got a standard adapter. The first thing that I notice about this after pulling it out of the box is the weight. I mean, this is a heavy microphone. And it's an all brass construction, so you'd expect it to be quite heavy, and it's got like a black speckled coating. But yeah, I think even despite being a little bit smaller, I think this is probably quite a bit heavier than that. But right, let's do some comparisons. I'm going to swap this over, and we'll see how it sounds. So I have changed nothing on my mixer or the record settings in Adobe Audition. Everything is exactly the same. Literally all I've done is just swap the microphones over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a short passage with each of the 4 microphones so you can see how each of them sounds. So we're going to start with the Deity S-Mic 2. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even if you don't see it yourself. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. So other than the Sennheiser, I have no idea how any of these 3 microphones are going to sound going through this mixer and into this system. So I'm going to go ahead and have a listen to the files that you've just watched and see how they sound. So that pretty much settles things. This is now my permanent microphone for this setup. There are 1 or 2 little niggles which don't bother me given how I'm going to be using this, but they might if I wanted to be a bit more versatile with it. This one is, yeah, pretty awful. We're not even going to talk about that one. One of the features that both the Rode NTG1 and the Sennheiser K6 have that this doesn't is a low cut filter. This helps to take out some of the rumble in certain environments so you get a bit of a cleaner voice. Because you can always add a bit of that bass back in post if you want to. But in this particular setup, that's really not an issue because, like, just the straight clean recording sounds absolutely great. At least it does on my Dynamic headphones. The only other feature that I would have really liked to see on this, and perhaps they have it in another model or one coming in the future, the Sennheiser K6 actually lets you put a AA battery inside the handle. This means that when you're out on location recording, you don't need a recorder with 48 volt phantom power, which is absolutely fantastic for me because I use a Tascam DR100. If I can find where I've put it. Found it! So I use a Tascam DR100 and this is an awesome little recorder. I've been using this for probably 7 or 8 years. And at any time I need to go and record anything audio, this is the thing I take. The only problem with it is that the battery life is awful if I've got phantom power on. If I've got 2 microphones plugged into this and they're both pulling phantom power, I'll get maybe 30-40 minutes out of it. If I'm not using phantom power, I'll get a good few hours. So with this, I can transfer the power requirement away from this and into a AA battery, which means that this will go on for quite a while. If I want to use this on location, then it's going to be pulling power out of here, and the battery's not going to last as long. But for use in here, which is where I'm primarily going to be using this microphone, it's absolutely perfect just as it is. The lack of low cut filter doesn't really matter because the sound coming into Audition sounds absolutely great just as it is. And the fact that it doesn't have a battery doesn't matter because the mixer under my desk is powered by the mains electrical supply, so I've no batteries to worry about. But I won't always be using it here. Sometimes I'll want to take it out with me to use alongside this perhaps. Deity actually have a travel kit to go along with the S-Mic too. As part of the kit, as well as this case, the microphone, the foam windshield and the light stand adapter, you also get a dead cat, and they have a Rycote pistol grip handle with a shock mount. This looks a lot better than the Rode one I've got. I've got a Rode PG2. It's the original one, not the new R one, which I think is quite similar mount to this. But the original PG2 that I've got is basically a rubber block with a hole in it that you shove your microphone through. But this feels much better. It feels solid, but the handle doesn't feel as big and chunky and clunky as the Rode one. To fit this onto the microphone, and I struggled with this at first. I thought there was something wrong with this because I'd put it on and it'd just slide off. So apparently to use this, you put the foam windshield on first, and then this wraps over the foam windshield. And even though in an environment like this, you shouldn't need either this or this, I'm just going to do a quick sound comparison so you can see how these sound. So let's listen to that first passage recorded on the Deity S-Mic 2 again. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. So there you go. That's how it sounds in all three of its forms. I'm not going to be using the dead cat because there's really no wind in here. I'm not even going to be using the foam windshield. I am going to be using this on location occasionally, although I think the Sennheiser is going to be relegated to location duty now purely because of that option to stick a battery in it. One thing I did note is that on both this and the Sennheiser, the signal coming into the mixer was much stronger than it was on either the Rode NTG1 or the Saramonic microphone. But yeah, this is now my permanent in-home microphone. I can't see any reason to pick any of the others over this because the sound coming out of it, just on the straight raw recording, is a lot closer to what I actually like to hear. I do still need to do a little bit of post-processing because this is not the perfect acoustic room. There's very little in the way of sound absorption, and my computer's humming away in the background, which you probably would have picked up on at least the Rode and the Saramonic microphones, even if you don't get it so much on this one or the Sennheiser. So I will have to do that bit of noise reduction, possibly process the voice just a teeny tiny little bit, but I won't have to do it as much with this as I have in the past with the Sennheiser. So if you're in the market for a shotgun microphone, you can do a lot worse than the Deity S-Mic 2. This thing's absolutely fantastic, especially for the money. If this video's helped you make up your mind on what shotgun microphone you want to go for, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
If you like some more cool movies, you can check out this one, and you can subscribe to us down here.